Hey guys, welcome back to Foreign Reacts. Today we're going to be checking out a video titled Whatever Country in Europe is Worst At, and this one is part 2. I did part 1 before. If I remember, I'll probably link it somewhere over here so you guys can actually click that link and go check it out. But we're going to be checking out part 2, countries that what every country in Europe is worst at. It was pretty interesting in the first one, so the second one likewise should be really interesting. I wanted to make a disclaimer. I'm moving to Europe, and if you guys want to check out the channel regarding me moving to Europe, click the link in the comment section and you'll get to that channel. And also my social medias, my Instagram, if you want to go follow me, go ahead and do that. Link for that will be in the comment section likewise. So yeah, we're gonna get right into this video, guys. So let's get right into the video.
This video was made possible by Audible. Get a free audiobook when you sign up at audible.com/reallifelore. Every country in the world is best and worst at something, and you're watching part 2 of what every country in Europe specifically is the worst at. Part 1 covered every European country between A and K, and it's linked in the description if you need to watch it. And this part is covering every country between L and V. So let's kick things off with Latvia, which has plenty of potatoes, but doesn't have plenty of men. Latvia has the least amount of men per capita in Europe, with only 0.86 men in the country for every one woman. Liechtenstein is technically
0.86 for one man. That's crazy. Why y'all ain't got no man over there? I don't know if you guys been in any military, actions. It's really military that really be wiping out these dudes, so let me know what's the cause of that, because I really need to know. And I'm pretty sure the dudes wouldn't just get up and leave the country for no reason at all.
the least visited country in Europe, but that's mostly just because it's so small. They only received 69,000 visitors in 2017. Lithuania is actually tied precisely with Latvia for having the least amount of men in the country. There are 16% more women in both Lithuania and Latvia than men. For being so tiny, Luxembourg is actually the worst in Europe at a lot of things. For starters, they have the largest ecological footprint of any country in the entire world. The average Luxembourger has double the ecological footprint of the average American. Luxembourg produces the most CO2 emissions per capita of any country in Europe. They have the world's highest divorce rate at roughly 87% of marriages ending in one, and they have the highest rent found in.
No! Listen, I'm young and people probably think I'm stupid, but I think really the reason why divorce happens is because, a lot of us, we get into a relationship and we just get into it based off of a particular thing that we like about the person, and we don't even actually realize that there are so many more things to a marriage rather than just liking a person for this, like, oh my gosh, she's a car girl, I'm a car guy. Okay, that's my wife. Let's go get married. And then when you get married, you realize that, okay, that doesn't matter, my guy. So I think a lot of the times that it's the entrance of marriage is what caused the exit of marriage. The intention why you got married likely can be the reason why you're not gonna have a successful marriage, if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, it's kind of messed up. The intentions these days is messed up. So y'all let me know if y'all from that country. What's going on over there? Y'all getting divorced?
Somewhere in Europe, and the third highest in the entire world. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the city center is over 1,500 euros a month. Malta is Europe's hottest country, with an average yearly temperature of 19.2 degrees Celsius. It's also Europe's most religious country, excluding the Vatican, with 86%.
19? That ain't too bad though. 19. Because I'm pretty sure 19 is not anywhere close to like 90 something in Fahrenheit. Y'all let me know the calculations. I really need to get to know the degrees really well.
Of the population saying that religion is important to their lives, and which makes Malta roughly just as religious as Estonia is irreligious. Malta also has Europe's lowest literacy rate, with 6.7% of the population over 15 not being able to read or write. Moldova has a lot of issues. According to the IMF, Moldova has the lowest GDP per capita of any country in Europe at only $3,300 per citizen. Moldova also has the highest rate of de-urbanization in the world, with a city growth rate of negative 1.5% on average per year. Moldova is also truly Europe's least visited country, since they only received 145,000 visitors for all of 2017, which is only one tourist for every 24 citizens in the country. People just don't ever come to visit Moldova, and for decent reasons. It has the worst access to improved sanitation facilities in Europe, with only 76% of the population having access to a toilet. And it also has Europe's highest amount of child labor, with 24.3% of the children in the country taking part in the labor force, according to UNICEF. Monaco has the lowest percentage of young people in the world, with the average age of their citizens being 52.4 years. They also spend the least on education in Europe, with only 1.5% of Monaco's GDP being contributed. Excluding the tiny city-states of Liechtenstein and San Marino, Montenegro has Europe's shortest, tallest building. The tallest building in the country is only 65 meters tall, which is even shorter than the tallest buildings of Andorra, Monaco, Vatican City, and Malta. The Netherlands has the highest rate of wealth inequality not only in Europe, but in the entire world. The top 1% of Dutch citizens own more than 1/3 of all the private wealth in the country. The Netherlands also has the most disappointing record in the FIFA World Cup, since they've gotten the runner-up place 3 times now and have yet to ever actually win, the highest number of runner-ups without a victory of any country in the world. North Macedonia has an even worse track record in sports, however, because they have Europe's worst performance at the Olympics, having only ever won a single bronze medal for wrestling back in the 2000 games at Sydney. Norway doesn't really have many bad things to say about it, but I guess they do have Europe's most expensive beer and petrol prices at nearly €7 for a pint of beer.
Yeah, y'all gas kind of, I need to start saying petrol. Petrol. Y'all gas kind of really expensive. I'm gonna say gas right now. But y'all kind of expensive with the petrol slice. Petrol. Kind of expensive, like Europe is really expensive when it comes to petrol. I guess probably because it's being given to y'all by, let me just keep going.
Nearly €2 for a liter of petrol. Theoretically, Poland has the most restrictive abortion laws anywhere in Europe. I say theoretically because Vatican City, Malta, San Marino, and Andorra all have more restrictions than Poland do, but they're also all very tiny countries, whereas Poland has the most restrictions of any European nation state and more than anywhere else besides those 4 tiny countries. They are restricted only to cases where the mother's life is in danger, mental or physical health, rape, and or fetal defects. Portugal has Europe's highest high school dropout rate.
That sounds pretty similar to other countries that I've researched about with abortion. Laws are about abortion. I think that's basically all the routes of abortion, like mental, rape. I think Finland also has incest in it. I think incest is really, really an important one, no offense. But they have incest in it, they have rape in it, age in it, if the mother has had such and such amount of children. So I don't really think that's necessarily extreme.
With only 60% of the population having completed secondary education. And according to a poll by AirHelp, the lowest rated airport in the entire world is also in Portugal, Lisbon Portela Airport. Romania has the lowest amount of movie theaters per capita in Europe, while Russia has a lot of problems. I can make an entire video just about all of the problems Russia has, but here's the quick version. They have the worst traffic in Europe and Europe's most dangerous roads with the highest number of average traffic deaths. They have the highest suicide rate in all of Europe and the highest for men specifically in the entire world. They have Europe's highest incarceration rate with 363 prisoners per 100,000 people. Russia is the most corrupt.
I can probably bet you that most of them prisoners probably innocent. Interesting. I think there's an American right in a prison right now in Russia from the WNBA. That's Women's National Basketball Association, if y'all don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, it is what it is, man.
country in Europe according to Transparency International. They have the highest rate of opiate usage in Europe and the third highest in the world at 1.64% of the population actively using. They have the highest rate of HIV infection in Europe at 1.2% of the population and have Europe's highest homicide rate. You're 8 times more likely to be murdered in Russia than you are in Germany. Russia has the lowest minimum wage in Europe at just 66 US cents per hour. And according to the Gay Travel Index, Russia is also by far the most unfriendly country in Europe towards LGBT people and among the worst places in the entire world to live as an LGBT person, on a par with Afghanistan or Libya. Moving on, San Marino is the most difficult country in Europe to conduct business in according to the Ease of Doing Business Index, and it's the least linguistically diverse country in Europe as well. Serbia has the worst gun problem in Europe, with Europe's highest firearm-related death rate. Slovakia has the lowest voter turnout of any country in Europe, with only 23% of eligible voters in the country actually voting in the last European Parliament elections in 2019, which is a much lower turnout than even Americans had in the 2016 presidential election that saw 55% turnout. People just don't vote in Slovakia, but in addition to that, Slovakia is also probably Europe's most racist country. A study conducted by the European Commission in 2015 asked people in EU member states how they would feel about their children dating somebody from a different background, and Slovakia gave back the most prejudiced results, with very high majorities of people saying that they wouldn't be comfortable with it. I couldn't find anything that Slovenia was the worst at other than being confused for Slovakia.
That's tough. That's tough. But one thing I can say is this. For any parent out there who would have an issue with your child being or dating somebody of a different ethnicity or a different background or whatever, hate to say this to you, you're an idiot. You know why you're an idiot? Because ethnic group, ethnicity, religion, all these things, those don't make a person. If read between the lines what I'm trying to say. You don't have to be Muslim or Muslim to do a suicide bombing, to shoot up a school. You ain't gotta be white. To rob a bank, you ain't gotta be black. What I'm trying to say is, if you're that type of person to try to justify why somebody should be with only people who looks like them, you're dumb, because you're literally setting up that person for failure, because that person is going to have an ideology. They're going to be like, so everybody who looks like me are good. And then when they finally wake up one day and they realize that, dang, I was living a lie all along, you are going to be the reason why they're going to be living that miserable life. Just imagine I'm like, hey, you can't date anybody who doesn't look like your pops. You better find somebody who looks like your pops. You know what kind of pressure I'm putting on that kid? I think a lot of people fail with parenting. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I'm royal king and I do everything good, but a lot of us, we're too controlling, we're too dominant. We try to control everything. You know, there's a limit to control. Control what you can control. Okay, once you're in my house, you can't have no boyfriends, you can't have no girlfriends. Okay, one day they're gonna be out of your house, but don't give that, overwhelming, expectancy to your child, because they're gonna just be miserable. That's why so many people are miserable, because they're living up to the expectation of other people, man. Like, don't do that to your child. Not just dating, but in general, sports. Don't go tell your child to go play this sport because you want it, or be a doctor because you want it. People got life out here and people be living their life to try to please other people. It makes me mad, bro.
All the time. So, great job, guys. Other than Russia, Spain has the highest number of active separatist movements in Europe, with 12 ongoing, some of which have pretty widespread support. At least 42% of the population in Catalonia favors independence. 33% of the population in the Basque Country do as well, and around 25% of the population in Galicia. Spain is perhaps the least likely country in Europe to survive in her current borders by the end of the 21st century. Weirdly, Sweden has the highest number of grenade and bomb attacks anywhere in Europe, with over 100 such attacks taking place in 2019 alone. Switzerland has the lowest rate of home ownership in Europe at only 43.4% of the population actually owning theirs. Perhaps this is because Switzerland is also the most expensive country in the entire world to live in. They have the world's highest cost of living, highest priced restaurants, highest priced groceries, and highest priced mobile data anywhere in the world. Zurich and Geneva are both the most expensive cities to live anywhere in Europe and among the highest priced cities anywhere in the world. Turkey has the lowest level of English proficiency in Europe at only 47% of the population. That's still kind of a lot. Anyway, Turkey also has the lowest freedom of the press score in Europe, the highest number of journalists imprisoned anywhere in the world, Europe's highest obesity rate at 32% of the population, the lowest overall gender equality score in Europe, and according to the Fragile States Index, Turkey is also Europe's least stable country with the highest number of terrorist incidents of any country with land on the continent. Ukraine has Europe's lowest birth rate at only 1.3 children per one woman in the country being the average. They also have Europe's lowest life expectancy at only 72 years, which is over a decade lower than Italians with 83.6 years. Men in Ukraine only have life expectancies of 67 years, which is on a par with men in Pakistan or Syria. And according to the same World Happiness Report that rated Finland as the world's happiest country, they also rated Ukraine as Europe's least happy. They have the lowest amount of internet users in Europe, with only 57% of the population being connected. Ukrainian citizens are also the poorest in all of Europe, with the average Ukrainian only having a mean net worth of $8,792 which is poorer than the average citizen of Kenya or Nicaragua is. On the complete opposite side of the spectrum, the United Kingdom has the highest usage of cocaine anywhere in the world, with roughly 2.7% of adults who actively use it. And finally, Vatican City is the final and sole surviving absolute monarchy in Europe, which pretty much by default makes it the least democratic country in Europe. And now that you've made it this far, getting through me telling you what your favorite countries in Europe are the worst at, I think you deserve a reward. A free audiobook at Audible when you sign up using the—
Bro, that's rough. That's rough. That is rough. I don't even know what to say. I got so many shocks in this one. Like, it's really depressing in this one. It's like really depressing. Like, the moment I crossed the part, what I think the racism part, and then it just got worse. I'm not sure if Russia was before the racism. I think Russia was before the racism. So I think from it hit Russia, it just got worse. Like, it just got so terrible. Oh my gosh, this world is whoo! Like, imagine just living your life every day just thinking that, man, I'm going through the worst, bro. Like, that's why I try to practice gratitude, bro. Like, man, this thing is crazy. Like, I never knew Ukraine was going through that much, bro. Like, I had love for Ukrainians, bro. Like, mad love, bro. I gotta get out of here, man. I don't want to talk about this no more. But I'm out of here, guys. Peace.